snacks.
What it do, snackers and snackettes and snack X's? It's your boy Gage. Joe's in the building. Sinner's in the building.
What's happening?
Chat is in the building. You are now tuned into Cutscenes, where we get together once a week and talk about things that are happening in video games, because cutscenes are
the best part of the game.
Sure, you're right. Today is a special day in video games because today was the kickoff event for Summer Game Fest.
That it was.
Keighley's Ape E3 Fest. Summer Game Fest goes all summer, and E3 is only for a couple days. So today there was a bunch of trailers. Jeff Keighley did his Jeff Keighleyest things.
Yes.
And on top of that, there was a bevy of news drops from Xbox, which we are going to discuss. It's a threat. Leah.
Hey, Leah.
See you. Happy recovery after your surgery. I hope you're feeling well. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about some of the things that we saw, things that were interesting to us, Summer Games Fest, what I guess stood out, and what we're still expecting going forward, because the sands are shifting a tad. Did the two of you both get to check out Summer Game Fest?
I did.
Yeah.
What up, Ty?
Hey, look at that.
That's pretty on time, bro.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Leah, I am glad you are recovering, even though it is slowly. I'm glad that it is surely. You just continue to take care of yourself. We will keep you in prayer for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so jokes. I want to get a litmus. I just kind of want to know what you're feeling about what we're seeing today from Summer Game Fest as a whole. Not any particular game or whatever, but just as a whole, how you feel?
Feel pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of the games, good things we did heard. A lot of things some things were coming this year. So that's always let me look. Coming this year, I'm gonna say that like that. But
Dates
whenever
can easily be changed.
Exactly. But getting the hype of knowing that a lot of these games are looking at coming out this year, it's a really good feeling.
Sure.
Overall, decent amount of titles, some familiar titles, and then a whole slew of new things that we had never heard about. I was perfectly fine with it. I didn't think they overdid it. I don't think there was anything super massive other than one thing that everybody's just been asking for, but I don't think there was anything that outshined anything necessarily one or the other. But I thought I think it all got its respect for amount of time for each thing for it.
Okay. I'll take that. Sin, how do you feel? Do you agree with that?
I kind of do. I think a kickoff for Summer Games Fest, I thought it was a good start. Start. I agree with what he said. A lot of stuff hadn't seen before, stuff new about, trailers, new trailers for things, what I'm saying, that were already on people's radars and stuff like that, give you a little more insight. A lot of stuff that I saw did pique my interest. So I would say a very good start for Summer Games Fest.
Okay. Does it feel like E3? Did it feel like it's the actual kickoff for E3? Did we just E3 technically doesn't start until Saturday.
Right? But it does feel like E3's. It feels like E3's kicking off.
Okay.
Like this is the warm up to E3. It feels like.
Which isn't. I don't feel like that's not normal, right? Like there's always news and stuff that starts to hit. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of times I will say that it feels like what we really get the week before is a bunch of rumors, and then confirmations and leaks. You know what I mean? That are just like whatever. And right now, that doesn't really seem to be the case. Like I haven't seen a lot of that, which is surprising. But then I thought about it, and I realized that a lot of times those leaks seem to happen because some dude who works for Ubisoft left his laptop open, was on a plane, working on Assassin's Creed 12. You know what I mean? Somebody left a prototype something in a bar because people were meeting and whatever, and like everybody's working from home.
Yeah,
like there's nobody out and about to like accidentally leave something somewhere where nobody, like, technically right now for there to be a leak, somebody's a snitch.
Right. Right.
Like somebody
that was on purpose.
Hey, it's like I got this Benjamin right here. What you know? Here's this Benjamin. What you know?
Yeah, that just doesn't seem to be the case, which I prefer. You know what I mean? Like it's actually good to kind of go into this having an idea of what's going on, because I feel like the other thing is that a lot of the companies have been more open about what they're doing. I think because some of their content is more controlled. So I think they feel like they can be a little more open. So I think we have expectations, but we just don't know. And I feel like this year, I'm actually probably more excited about E3 this year than I ever have been, but than I have been in a long time, because it feels like there's just a much higher chance that there are surprises that we just don't see coming. You know what I mean? Because there's nobody to spoil it for us. You know what I mean? Spoiler boys!
I was about to say that. Spoiler boys
out there. Yeah, it's just fewer spoiler boys out there. Okay, so talk to me about what you saw. What there was a lot of trailers, man. Talk to me about what stood out for you. What's got you excited? You know what I mean?
Well, let's start off with was it Prime Matter? They did a montage with like a bunch of stuff they had coming, and I saw like Payday 3 in there. That piqued my interest, and I saw some Gungrave stuff, which really piqued my interest. The other stuff they showed definitely was like, okay, like y'all got a lot of stuff I'm liking here, okay, out there, or that I'm liking, and that I like what I saw, even though it was mostly like CG stuff or whatever. But interest is certainly people with the stuff they have coming. Blood Hunt, we were just talking about before that, definitely is on the radar, but we did learn that it seems like it might be just PC, so that might put it down the notch a little bit, but we'll see.
Right,
I'm not gonna cut it off, just yet. Was it Anna Crucis or something like this?
Anacrusis or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, with the space, the edge of space, and it's like a Left 4 Dead type of thing. But they got some funny, witty banter, and it's aliens and stuff like that. It seems like it still needs some work.
It
seems like it still needs some work.
That joint didn't do it for me. It intrigued me.
Yeah,
but looking at it, I was like, this joint doesn't look like this guy.
But it's not there yet. But I'll keep my eye on it. Type of deal. I'm not a horror guy, y'all know by now, but House of Ashes made me sit up a little bit, only because it's part of that anthology.
The anthology, yeah.
And I have what was the first one they did? Help me remember.
Man of Madon. Was that the first one? Was that the second?
No, Man of Madon is a different
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
Yeah, I have Until Dawn and the whole scene. You can get everybody to make it, everything. So I don't know if I'll ever play it, but I like
because their last couple didn't really hit as well as like Until Dawn did for a lot of people. But the anthology, like the first two pieces of the anthology, didn't quite seem to hit as well. But we'll see how this one does. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, we got a new trailer for Tales of Arise. Y'all know that is one of my favorite franchises of all time. And I was excited to see the trailer because now I got to see the cast of characters I will be using and look at kind of what they're bringing to the table. Got to look at the big bad villain in it. So can't wait for September to get my hands on that even more now. Planet Lana looked interesting. Mm-hmm. It was all hand painted, looked very beautiful, side scrolling game. I could see me game passing that if it happens to show up somewhere. I think I could, have a little fun with that. Want to see a little more about the story, but it looked pretty and, caught my eye. Tribes of Midgard looks like it will be a blast. the Viking joint where it's like survival, but you can go out and make legendary weapons and gather resources. You got to protect this tree or crystal or something from these big giant titans that will come to try to attack it. And you can build everybody can work together. Like that looks like a lot of fun. Evil Dead, the game, I think is going to be a blast. It looks like fun to me. I don't know why, but I'm keeping my eye on it now. And I'm not even a big Evil Dead like person or fan or anything, but the game looks fun. So at least the co-op aspect of it. So besides the big reveal, at the end, those are the ones I would say that, stuck out the most to me that I saw today.
Jokes, how about you?
It's like everything. That was like everything, honestly.
I told you. So they showed a lot of stuff that, I'd be like, oh, okay. Hey.
But for me, Blood Hunt was the one that stood out to me the most. Just like we said, looks like it, at least as of now, it's only PC on Steam. But like, I like the vibe. I like what we were getting from it. I like the fact that we saw there was a lot of collaborations that we saw with current existing games and ones that were coming, like Smite bringing in Stranger Things content to it, Fast and the Furious content coming to Rocket League. There was a lot of those collaborations that I think were pretty cool.
2B coming to Fall Guys.
Mm-hmm. I thought there was a lot of great collaborations that we saw, and seeing that makes me feel good as a gamer. Whether it's partnering with movie franchises or say games partnering with other games to bring in content, we kind of see them going outside of necessarily some of their own franchises, their own brand labels, which is kind of cool. Elden Ring, for me, it was cool to see. It has a release date, but it looked good, but it still hasn't. Like, I need something to push me towards it a little bit more. I think it's gonna be cool and all, but I think that's really it. Like the Tales game, like I really never got into them. This one has piqued my interest in seeing it, so I think I am gonna actually pick it up and play it. I'm not the biggest Borderlands fan in the world, but for some reason, Wonderland,
that Tiny Tina's Wonderland looked incredible.
I missed that completely, so I gotta watch that.
That was the very first thing.
No, I didn't get in until like after, like I think I was watching an anime or something. I realized once I saw like it was shared to the Lotus X page, I was like, oh, that's right, it's on. Cut it all off and go to YouTube and boot it up.
Fail, but that jump, it looked like.
I mean, you're not seeing gameplay. Hey, but that joint looked incredible, dog. Like, I was looking at that. Like, when it first came on, I was looking like the art style looks familiar.
Yeah, and it wasn't quite there.
That joint is 4 to the K, bruh. Yeah. Like, that, listen. Man, that joint looked incredible. It actually looked like, here's the thing. Borderlands has always had its own kind of quirky art style on top of, you know what I mean, having like the really heavy, thick outlines and whatever. Mm-hmm. This joint actually looked like that, but like in 3D. Like it actually looked like it hit the third dimension, and like the clothing looked like cloth. It didn't look like drawn on. You know what I'm saying? Like it looked textured.
It wasn't it wasn't that complete cell shading type.
Yeah, like it didn't just all look like this is a gun, and like my man's hood looked like a hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Like it looked textured. Like that joint looked.
And I am interested by it.
And listen, the voice cast on this joint.
Cast.
Will Arnett. And I was like, yeah, they going hard.
They putting some money behind
they're going hard for this joint,
and the fact they acknowledge that it's its own standalone. So obviously they're gonna pull the elements of it, but it's not necessarily like if you haven't played Borderlands, obviously you won't know the character. But I think that's kind of interesting that it's its own story, and that may draw me in a little bit more because I haven't fully played any of the Borderlands games. So story wise,
it gives me the impression that this is a full-on spinoff. And when I say that this game is intended, like, they might not do another Borderlands. Like, they could obviously do a Borderlands 4, but because this joint is called Wonderland, it's not called Wonderland, it's called Wonderlands, as if it's replacing Borderlands. And then Tiny Tina shows up at the end of the trailer and writes her name like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and like talks a little trash at the end of the joint. It's like, oh, this might actually be a full-on, like, this might not just be like a one-off game. Like, the DLC for like Tiny Tina's joint on Borderlands 2.
Tiny Tina in that game was just stole the show.
Bruh, and that's why
she's getting her own game.
And Ashley Birch, man, is like the voice acting darling of the video game. And like, there are plenty of names that people talk about with your Troy Bakers and all that, but like Ashley Birch, for her work in The Last of Us 2 alone, but her work as a whole, but especially as Tiny Tina, is like incredible. Yeah, that joint, no gameplay, dog. And I was I just was saying, like, Borderlands 3 just didn't do it. It just felt like more Borderlands. I couldn't quite get into it. It wasn't that it was bad. It just was like, I played so much of this already when I played 2, that Borderlands 3 in a lot of ways just felt like it could have been more DLC for Borderlands 2. And it took so long that I feel like the play somehow felt dated. Like, it didn't quite feel upgraded enough. Even though there was tons of guns and it was different or whatever, it just kind of felt like, I mean, y'all really could have just tacked this on to 2 and I would have been okay. You know what I mean, with it. So for this to be coming and for it not to technically be Borderlands 4, and the fact that it's Wonderlands feels to me like they're going to lean a little more heavily away from some of the stuff that makes Borderlands. Like, the humor will be right, but that the gameplay, obviously they showed guns, but like, and they have to have that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way around that. But the RPG-ness of what that Tiny Tina's, like, that DLC was so on point that if this is even close, yeah, I don't know how they're like, I'm sold. Like, if they would have been like Borderlands 4, I'd have been like, I think I'm out. But the fact that it's Wonderlands, I'm like, I think you got me. I think you might have got me. You know what I mean? So we'll see. That joint stood out for sure. What else you got, Jokes?
I think that's it. I mean, everything, like I said, everything looked good in its own respect. Some games weren't necessarily my cup of tea, but I will say that everything that was presented during the kickoff show definitely is going to be worthwhile in some shape and form. Yeah,
so Elden Ring, which is the elephant in the room, like, that's the thing people have been waiting for and talking about and begging for and whatever. It was good to actually see what appears to be gameplay and so forth from it. I don't really care about Dark Souls at all. I don't really care about Bloodborne. I think my biggest problem with Dark Souls is that Dark Souls has no real story. Like, there's a Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and it's like you're just a dude who's trying to go through. It's like nobody talks about, man, the story in Dark Souls is so good, right? It's about the quote unquote emergent gameplay of like getting better, like dying and getting better, and it's about how hard the game is or whatever. Bloodborne was a little bit different, and people seem to like the speed of it. What? This joint might actually have me. I don't get excited because of George Railroad Martin being attached to it. I'm not even a Game of Thrones dude, so that doesn't necessarily do it. But here's the thing. The important piece of George R. R. Martin being tied to it, along with seeing what the actual gameplay looks like, which looks much faster. It looks like Shadows Die Twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speedier gameplay, which is more up my alley. And the fact that George R. R. Martin is, and when you look at the way it's played, it looks like there might actually be a story here.
Yeah.
I would
You know what I
think
mean?
with him there. I mean, he
Or
has
what
that.
Sekiro would be like. You know what I mean? And the thing about Sekiro for me, I didn't play it. I'm still interested in it, but I'm only interested in it because I miss Tenchu. And that game is the closest thing to a Tenchu I feel like we're ever going to get, which is just an old From Software IP that is what Sekiro originally started as. And then, like, the Souls games blew up and Bloodborne blew up, and they turned what would have been a new Tenchu game into basically Bloodborne meets Dark Souls with a samurai ninja. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's necessarily bad, but isn't what I wanted. And the creator of the series is very, very into Zelda and draws a lot of inspiration from Zelda and that gameplay. And even though it's weird creatures and kind of funky looking, you know, the combination of knowing that with George R. Martin and what the actual gameplay looked like is like, this joint might actually have I might actually want to rock this joint.
I'm
Question
wishing.
is the story complete?
I mean,
look, there's a whole nother thing.
It probably is for this game, because if this game does anywhere near as well as people are acting like they're all gonna go buy it, there will absolutely be a 2, right? And so the story doesn't have to be complete. It also was enough story that it probably kept him from completing the other stories that everybody's waiting on him to complete, which is fine for me because I don't care about those stories. But I had no interest in Elden Ring at all. None. Now I actually do.
A little bit.
I can agree. Like, I wanted to see it like everybody else. Like, okay, I know it's gonna be a Souls game. George R. R. Martin. I want to see what it is. After seeing it, like, I honestly want to know more about the world.
Right.
Like the way it just looks from the landscapes to the enemies he was fighting, everything. I want to know more about it, and that probably will be enough to pull me in.
It's possible
to jump in and play it. So I'm looking forward to hearing more.
From Software has been around for a long time. I hate the idea that as a studio they're turning into a one-trick pony. That everything they do is just let's just make more Souls games. And it's not like, I mean, again, there are studios that do that. You know what I mean? Like there are studios that, like, people love that studio. They do one game and that's it. You know what I mean? And it's not really until, like, if you look at Guerrilla for PlayStation, for a long time they did one game. You know what I mean? And the amazement that people had when they turned out Horizon Zero Dawn isn't necessarily because Horizon is great. It's because it's so different from what they always were stuck doing. They're not like an Insomniac, where Insomniac has at least experimented with what feels to some extent like different genres. Technically, everything Insomniac does is the same game too. They do 3D platformers with weird guns. Like, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? Spider-Man, even for them, has some of that. It's a 3D platformer with he has a ton of gadgets. Like, that's a thing that they're good at. Like, they make these, gadgets. So there's all these different spider gadgets, which is a thing Spider-Man does. So it's cool. To an extent, they're still a one-trick pony. You know what I'm saying? What Naughty Dog does currently, still a one-trick pony. The stories they're making and developing and pushing, it's that one thing from that studio. It's not Crash Bandicoot anymore. You know what I'm saying? But we saw them graduate, at least, from that Crash Bandicoot into Uncharted, into The Last of Us, and have managed to get new IPs that are along the same thing as what you expect from them, right? From Software has for a long time done different types of games, and now it feels like, because the Souls thing, like, if From Software announces they're doing something, it's almost like people are disappointed if it's not a Souls-like
type thing.
You know what I mean? And it's gotten so big that other people are trying to do it. You know what I mean? It's like Souls-like the new Metroidvania is the new roguelike. You know what I mean?
It's a new genre now.
Right. And I'm not a fan, so to speak. That's not to say it's bad. This is not a thing for me. But as somebody who likes and has liked From Software's work
Work.
for a long time before they got pigeonholed, you know, I kind of would like to see them get away from that a little bit. But the game looked pretty good to me. Here's one thing that caught my eyes. Metal Slug Tactics. Dog, listen. Metal Slug is just a cool run around, shoot 'em up, whatever. But when I saw that it was a tactics game, I was like, you know what? Taking this and turning that genre into something else instead of it just being a straight up shmup. Same look, same feel, but it's a tactics game. I just thought it was kind of cool. I probably won't play it, but I thought it was kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? That they were doing that. Lost Ark looks cool too. It's an Amazon Prime game. It looks like it's PC only. It's off the table. Endless Dungeon looks dope.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sega might have something there. I'm on that. Escape from Tarkov also looks dope.
It does.
Let me tell you how my boy has been trying to get me to play that joint for like the last 2
Really?
months now.
Really?
Yes. He absolutely loves the joint.
Was he playing it on?
PC. That's yeah.
Get him out of here. Yeah, I mean those are the things that really, you know, probably stood out the most to me. I think there was some pretty cool stuff. Since you and I talked a little bit about Tales,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm not. You're a super fan, in my opinion, of Tales.
That's cool with me. Yes.
I'm not. I appreciate the games and appreciate what they do. They don't pull me in. The only reason why I ever want to play a Tales game is because of the co-op. So you and I can just run and, you know what I'm saying, play it. But the co-op is executed terribly.
And it's not in this one. They took it out.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So that stung a little bit. However, the trailer looked like when they said they were doing 3D and kind of changing it from like the size, I was like, all right. Because realistically, I do feel like for as long as that series has been around, it has looked exactly the same the whole time. And I felt like, all right, man, we got all these 4K systems with all this power and all this whatever.
Let's
like,
take advantage.
Yeah, it's time to like do something a little different with it. And I just think that there's so much stuff that comes out. Like there are like side-scrolling indie game like RPGs that I feel like would give Tales a run for their money, if in nothing else, just in look and feel. And so I think, you know, taking it to that next level and being like, all right, we actually do have some money. Let's actually spend that joint in, you know what I mean? Like, you charging over $100 for a box copy of this game. Act like you charge $100 for a box copy of the game and put something, because it does feel over time, even with the story and the voice acting and whatever, it makes it feel like they put less effort into it.
True.
You know what I mean? And when you compare it to what other mainstream, because Tales, honestly, I feel like deserves to be a much more recognized RPG than it is. I feel like it deserves more. I think it doesn't get more because it doesn't do enough to iterate on itself to make it look and feel
like some of the other ones.
Current. You know
like,
what I'm saying? Or whatever.
Question, like for someone like for me, I've never really dove into it. Is this like, is Tales like, say, like Final Fantasy, how it has different games for it? They don't necessarily all align with each other, but they're like different stories told? Or is there like a concise story that like just flows?
Like it takes place in the same world, but there's only been, I think, 2 of them that had like a part 1 and a part 2. Kind of like it's kind of in the same realm of Final Fantasy.
So like, my thing is, if I grab Arise, it's not like I'll necessarily miss out on anything because
there might be some throwbacks. Like there might be some throwbacks in the Coliseum about it. Like you might see somebody's name on the board, like, oh, that was a character from such and such. He's like first on the list or something like that.
Right.
But
I just had to make sure.
Yeah, but nothing that you would have to. No, you're good.
Got it.
I think that's important. Again, like, if they said that joint was coming to Game Pass, it'd be a wrap. I'm not prepared to spend money on it just yet, because there's so much stuff coming. So like, I know they do, and I know it's coming in September.
And I'm locked in.
Listen, what I can tell you is that I can't give you I'm about that joint. I'll play it in September. until after E3 is over and I see these other announcements and know what's coming. I have to wait.
I completely understand. I completely get it. But I've been waiting for it for so long that in September, I'm clearing my slate for that particular one when it comes out. It's got to be something. It's got to be something. I got to wait to see E3 or something's going to drop. Just going to be like, oh gosh, I'm going to put that on hold right now. But for now, that has my September slot.
I wanna ask a question really quickly. Did y'all see the news about Knockout City today?
No.
It's double XP weekend this weekend.
Jokes. Look at his face. Look at his face.
I knew as soon as I said it was gonna be that was gonna be a problem.
It's bad because I'm what level? Do you guys remember what levels y'all are by any chance?
I barely played it because I wasn't with y'all when y'all played last Friday.
I'm like level 21.
Shocker. It's you.
Hey, but I will tell you that like I've actually gotten a good rhythm within the game. Like I went on like a 7-game win streak. So I went and played in the solo mode too, just to start kind of bouncing around, see how everything else works. Boy, that's on so much fun.
Okay.
And those moves, Sin.
I just thought I'd throw it out there.
What moves you talking about?
Just so you'll be aware.
When we started picking up how to do them team ups, we have to get back in there because the passing the ball. When we figured that out, we was getting a rhythm then. Yeah.
Okay. Is Knockout City better than Destiny?
No.
Why you do that?
Because I want to know. I want to know because people are acting like this joint is. I mean, it's a shooter. It's a third person shooter.
Hey.
With
dodgeballs.
I'm just asking.
Hey, the Jones clean. I I love Destiny, but Jesus, like the love-hate relationship with Destiny that I can't explain it.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, listen, I think Summer Game Fest was a cool. I think it was a solid kickoff. I think it was a great way to kind of get started and get the juices flowing, get the energy moving, you know what I mean, with stuff. Let's talk for a second about Battlefield talking trash yesterday. Battlefield 2042. I think that's dope. So they dropped the trailer. You all saw the trailer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Hey dog, that trailer looks incredible.
It does.
Incredible, dog.
It does.
Like, I was watching that joint like, hey, Slim. If these members was in cars, this joint Fast and the Furious, like they was slicing it, like they was getting it. Music was crushing. I was like, hey dog, I need to go download this song. Like,
this is the first time I've actually legitimately I'm a little excited. I'm a little excited.
Oh no, I'm excited.
So here's the thing.
I
know it. I kind of have an idea.
I know he's about to say.
No story mode, dog.
Single
player, dog. Man, you don't get out of here with that mess, dog.
When I heard that, I saw your face in my head. Like I just like, oh.
So here's the thing. I still have. So we know we're going to see gameplay at the Xbox conference on Sunday. I still am holding on to the idea / prediction that they're going to say it's coming to Game Pass day one.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that's going to be super important. And there are a couple of reasons for that. First and foremost is you got to have that player base. And I'm going to tell you what part of the problem is. Initially, I was a little concerned because as soon as they dropped the trailer, right after the trailer dropped, PlayStation tweeted, coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on such and such day. I didn't see any such tweet from Microsoft. That was very interesting to me. Okay? That's one. Two, the other important thing that came out that the internet was upset about, besides the fact that there is no story mode, is the fact that it is a full $70 game.
Yes.
With no story mode. Now, we can talk about this all y'all want, about whether or not a game that has hundreds of hours of emergent gameplay built into it is worth $70. We can have that conversation all you want. But before we ever even get into that discussion, I think the most important thing about that is, who is their biggest competition?
COD, Call of Duty.
Who is their next biggest competition? It's Fortnite.
Warzone. Still Call of Duty.
Well, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Warzone. Right?
Yeah.
How much is Warzone?
Free.
Mm-hmm.
Warzone is free, bruh. It's free. How much is Fortnite?
Free 99.
Free.
Okay. So the two biggest shooters. Oh, by the way, how much is Destiny now?
Free.
Yes.
Okay. This is a all multiplayer game. You must establish a player base. You have to. How are you going to do that?
Because that $70 is a hefty price tag.
Majorly.
You got to take it to Game Pass.
You got to put it in Game Pass.
You got to. To compete, you have to. What up, Perk?
What's up, Perk? As incredible as this joint looks, and as dope as the gameplay might be when we see it on Sunday, if Sunday comes and goes and they don't say this joint is in Game Pass, Battlefield 2042 will die. Period.
Yes, it will. X.
Call of Duty. Listen, I'm telling you, Battlefield 2042 is a day one purchase. Is that what you're saying, Perk? Because I'm saying it's day one Game Pass.
Game Pass. If it don't come in Game Pass, I will not have it.
Game Pass, that joint's gonna die.
I agree. Like, even though it's all multiplayer, I'm looking forward to playing it, but it's got to be Game Pass. No, I'm not buying it.
That joint.
No, if it drops in Game Pass, it will be pre-downloaded, and I'm gonna jump into it and give it a shot.
Here's the thing.
And play.
My expectations for the amount of hard drive space that game intends to take.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need one of the little cards just for that.
Buy got
you're gonna need one of the little cards just for that joint.
Slim.
Facts.
I was watching a video the other day. People were complaining because, like, Call of Duty on PlayStation 5 is a smaller install than it is on PlayStation 4. Even with the higher end assets, because something about the way they are streaming those games, you know what I'm saying, and the way the SSD handles it, they're doing something incredible with it. Like, it was a whole thing on like Digital Foundry. They were talking about it or whatever because people were asking about it, and they were like, how come nobody's talking about this? Why are there games on the PlayStation 5 that are full 4K assets streaming at 4K 60 or, you know, whatever it is, and the file sizes are smaller than they are for PlayStation 4? Like, this is crazy. And we're talking like somewhere between like 10 and 12 gigs. And you remember me telling you that there was a lot of research going on that were finding ways that because they were using SSDs, that the file sizes, even though they were higher, that the sizes might shrink because the way that they're now developing the actual engines that they're using, they don't have to repeat so many assets. And the game can actually draw them fast enough that they don't need them in another folder in order to pull it so they can show it to you here. It's fast enough that they can pull it from a folder way back, you know, whatever. Right. My man said Black Ops 4 launched without a campaign and it did just fine. I disagree. Blackout. So Black Ops 4 was a single player game. Blackout was the multiplayer. Am I tripping? Like, Blackout was the
additional that they added to. I remember.
That joint's dead. Warzone baked that joint.
Yeah. And they ended up and they took it and integrated it.
And also, Perp, you missed when Gage was talking about how, like, with they have competition now with Warzone being free, Fortnite being free, Destiny being free. Like, all the big shooters are free. So coming out with a $70 entry fee,
that's,
you know,
only multiplayer.
And not to mention,
it's a big thing. Yeah,
Battlefield is like a specific group. Like the ones that play Call of Duty all the time. Like, say for me, I will play Call of Duty over Battlefield any day of the week. And if that jump does not drop in Game Pass, you will not see me, who normally is on a Call of Duty, spend $70 on this Battlefield game. Like,
so realistically, if they had shown that trailer they showed and said that joint had a story, especially if that joint was co-op, if they said that joint had a story,
that would have been your day one.
They would have got my 70 because I would have got the discount for it being an EA play or whatever, you know what I mean, for Game Pass. But I would have bought it. I'd have been like, you know what? I will play this. This joint looks incredible. Did you see my man eject out of the plane?
Do you all know?
Climb back into the plane. I said, Slim, if you can do that in the game, dog.
No, it is. That's from like a popular viral clip, like from one of the battlefields that they took and just put it into.
It came out of one of the old. They did something like that in one of the older ones, and then I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Clean, and then they threw the tornado joint in there, and I was like,
just cause
the environment things. I was like, hold on a minute here.
Slim, again, I'm telling you, like the potential for the emerging gameplay, for the Twitch clips, for the memes, for the it's incredible.
Sick.
It's way bigger than everything else that's out. It just is. However, it's gonna be tough. First says, I agree with that, but all I know is that this Battlefield is going to be 10 times better than that trash Call of Duty Cold War. So 70 isn't a huge deal to me, which is cool.
Cool.
A lot. And that's perfect because you're the target audience. Then you're exactly who it is that they're aiming for. The people who love Battlefield enough that they would rather spend $70 for Battlefield than pay for Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens you're in the minority, unfortunately. And Battlefield needs to actually let's do a little more math. Apex Legends.
Free.
It's free. More importantly, it's also EA. We did this once before with Titanfall, Battlefield, and Call of Duty all coming out like within like a 3-week span or something stupid like that, right?
Yeah.
The best game of the 3 ate dust because nobody knew what it was, right? Because Titanfall 2 is a better game than any of them joints. Do a quick search. Anybody will tell you that Titanfall 2 is the best first-person shooter released last generation, period. Which means currently it's better than anything that's been released this generation, period. That joint died, though, because it came out with Call of Duty on one side of it and Battlefield on the other side of it.
Caught right in the middle.
And it did the one thing everybody begged for it to do, which was put a story mode in it. Put like a real story mode in it where I don't have to play online with other people, because the first Titanfall had that as a mistake, right? There was a story, but you had to play with like a team
with other people. Yeah.
So it was like, hey, listen, I want y'all to know my daughter just texted me and asked me if I had any BTS sauce.
Like McDonald's.
Hold on. Well, see, last time this happened, I
remember.
Hold on.
Sweet chili.
Maybe.
Titanfall 3.
Yeah. Hey, listen, but I doubt it happens.
I don't know.
If it does happen, it happens on the strength of Apex. But a Titanfall 3 will be dope. But Titanfall 2 didn't do well enough for them to make a Titanfall 3. But Apex is doing well enough that they might do a Titanfall 3. And what I think they're going to do is, I think they're going to continue to push Apex and turn Apex into a thing that makes it so. Because right now, the majority of people who play Apex have no idea that's even tied to the Titanfall universe. It's the same universe. They don't even know it. So when they start giving Apex players Titans, you'll know it's going down. And I guarantee you it's coming. Listen to me. Look with my eyeballs. It's happening. It's going to happen. There's no two ways about it.
Is that an E3?
There's no two ways about it.
Are we going to see that this weekend?
Sin.
I don't know. We'll see.
Sin, listen to me. Sin.
I'm listening.
They're gonna start by dropping pilots. I think they already have at least one who used to pilot a Titan.
Titan or something like that.
I think there's one character who used to pilot a Titan. That will continue. That story is going to be a thread. And that joint is going to lead to Titanfall 3. Like, people who play it will know.
I can see that leading out, like, the story there leading to a Titanfall 3 with Apex characters in it, like being something separate, but not in the Apex game itself.
Let these characters start coming in. Let these characters start coming in off of exploding Titans. Like that, and that's where we get the whole groundwork going on.
Eventually, it turns into that. Eventually, they do a mode that's a separate mode where they have more than one character. Once they add an additional pilot, 2 additional pilots, 3 additional pilots that have it, all they need is enough for there to be able to be a 3-on-3. So they only have to have 6. Once they do that, they can do a completely separate mode where you're playing as one of these characters. You can jump in the top. Dog, listen, I'm just. That's all. Perps that I predict we'll see Battlefield gameplay on Xbox stage. They already announced that.
Yeah, they already announced it. Yeah.
Same thing. They have announced it that it's going to be on Battlefields, and I think when they do it, they're going to announce it's coming to Game Pass.
Yep.
And I'm telling you now, listen. As raw as that Battlefield trailer looked, and as raw as I'm expecting the gameplay footage to look when we see it on Sunday, I am telling you now, if Battlefield doesn't have, if they don't put it in Game Pass, if they don't put it in Game Pass, it will not have enough people to maintain it. It just won't. It won't. There won't be enough people paying for it and playing in it to continue to compete because they need the market share. And that means they have to take market share from Call of Duty. Already said, like, we're not even talking to y'all at all at E3. We're going to announce something in like August.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They already gearing up to just be like, yeah, here, load this up and have it. You know what I'm saying? And whatever they do with it, like they announced enough, like we know that it's going to be, it's a World War II game. They've already said that. Like it's a World War II game. They said it like earlier today, but they're not giving us the deets yet. Yeah, see, look, they said they'll start the Titanfall in the Apex. Watch the Apex stream. Last character they brought out is the beginning. I told you.
Here we go.
That joint is happening, dog. They need Apex in order to make Titanfall a well enough known and established franchise for people who play Apex to pay them to be able to play Titanfall 3.
True.
And whatever they do in Titanfall 3, however they add in the multiplayer for that, it will also be tied to Apex in some way. It has to. It's the thing that makes the most sense. Yeah, Ghost 2 is going to be set in World War II. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you what. Unfortunately, Call of Duty can do no wrong. Unfortunately. And as a person who does not play Call of Duty because I just don't care anymore, right? They said that the zombies joint is coming. Like all the stuff that all the class of people want is going to be there.
Ghost 2 set in World War II.
People are going to buy it. And I think there's a chance that we see a Call of Duty drop that has a shorter campaign than normal. That's not a full $70 game because they'll still have Warzone.
True.
Or they'll iterate on Warzone. And they'll keep pulling people in and keep pulling money from that because that business plan is working for them. Period. It is the Epic Game Store Fortnite business plan. Let them in, let them play, give them skins. Let them in, let them play, give them skins. Then let them in, let them play, and give them skins. Like that, it just make them buy skins. Like that's what it is.
New season, buy the pass. There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
that's it.
The Overwatch news today. You know what I mean? Like the crossplay joint that they announced for Overwatch. Whew, that's major. It's major.
I'm ready.
That means that they made a decision that they're making enough money. Blizzard Activision is making enough money that they're willing to pay Sony so that they can do crossplay.
They say, look, shut up. Here's his money. Crossplay and let these folks play together.
Because the biggest problem that Overwatch has is matchmaking. And it's matchmaking because two reasons. One, the number of players, 6 players. 2, nobody wants to play the specific thing.
Split all the roles.
Nobody wants to be the tank, or nobody wants to be the healer. Nobody wants to be the tank. Trying to queue because you're waiting. And I don't even play, but I know what's going on because I pay attention and I read a lot and I listen to a lot of things. Like, so people are just sitting in queues. That's their biggest issue. That's part of why they got rid of the 6-person and moved down to 5-on-5. It's going to be easier and faster to queue. But how else
get rid of jokes? The tank.
You right?
Hey, I don't play tank. So
no, I'm just saying. Like
I play tank.
I hate
and I play healer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But getting rid of that extra person means you don't have to get as many people in, and making it so that it is cross-platform means it won't take as long for you to find people. Now, I haven't seen whether or not Battlefield is going to be cross-platform or not. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think that joint's going to have legs, though. Without Game Pass. That joint doesn't have legs. Unless they just straight up just be like, Because again, $70, that's a lot of money, man, for all multiplayer.
Major facts.
I'm not saying it's not worth it. That's not me saying it's not worth it, because for real, any game you can jump into and get hundreds of hours, if you can get 20 hours out of it, I think that's $70 is worth it. If they put out a $70, like The Last of Us ain't that long. Last of Us like 20 hours. You know what I'm saying? People will gladly pay $70 for that. It's just weird to people when they have to do it because they're used to getting the single player and the multiplayer all tied into one thing.
Right.
That's already changed with Warzone. Here's what we need to do. Let's talk about how Microsoft decided to just slam the gauntlet down today. This is like, I know E3's coming. Here's a bunch of stuff. We don't want to talk about this.
Right,
we can have a conference on Sunday, 90 minutes, and all we want to talk about is games. So don't ask us no questions about none of this, right? We need to discuss this. So a few days ago, Microsoft did a video that they specifically allowed journalists to go in and watch. And this video had like all their execs. So it was Phil Spencer, Satya Nadella, the head guy at Microsoft, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, like all of the folks who were in that hierarchy at the top of the chain, okay, in Xbox, talking about what they're doing and what their next moves are going to be. It's not even worth trying to just like divvy it up. I'm just going to read it because they're going for the jugular. So on the Xbox Wire, they have this article. They got this picture. You are the center of gaming. And the article is called Bringing the Joy of Community and Gaming to Everyone. Ahead of the first ever Xbox Bethesda showcase on Sunday, I want to pause there for a second. So one of the things that I talked about as a thing for me when we were discussing like our E3 predictions, the fact that they're calling it Xbox and Bethesda Showcase, there are a couple of things there. One is that they made it very clear that Bethesda would continue to be a publisher and in some manner like operate on their own, which does make me feel like that might be why they said the Bethesda Showcase was Xbox. The other thing about that, though, for me specifically, is it made me wonder if part of the reason why they were calling out Xbox and calling out Bethesda was so that they could give Bethesda the space they need within the 90 minutes sharing the same stage to talk about games that they're building that are PlayStation exclusive. Because that's a thing. Those are their big games. The big Bethesda games that we know of that are supposed to be coming out this year are PlayStation exclusive. Am I?
Yep. No, you're right. You were right.
And Ghostwire Tokyo, which I don't think Ghostwire is this year. I think that got pushed. Deathloop also got pushed, but it is supposed to be this year. So that was the thing for me where it's like, well, maybe they don't just want to say Xbox Showcase and have Bethesda there and have Bethesda just there talking about this game.
Right.
And they're talking about how much work they put into it and what's going on with it and whatever. And it's going to PlayStation. Like PlayStation, like, we're not even going to E3. We don't care. We'll let all y'all talk about this stuff. Just come into our joint and sell it for us, right? So it did make me feel like maybe they're doing that so it doesn't feel quite so weird that they decide to talk about this stuff. But they could do it and then be like, yes, it's coming to PlayStation first. It'll be in Game Pass on such and such day. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, there are still things like that. But the fact that they're saying the first ever makes it sound like it will continue to be this way.
Going on, yeah.
But it also makes me feel like, because it is called Xbox and Bethesda Showcase, and it's not Xbox Bethesda E3, it's not whatever, it's just Xbox Bethesda Showcase, makes me feel like this will be a thing going forward that isn't just tied to E3. That as they start doing like the Xbox games, you know, whatever that they do, that they may do it that way and call it a showcase even when it's not E3. Just felt the need to kind of bring that up a little bit. But anyway, ahead of the first ever Xbox Bethesda Showcase on Sunday, when we unveiled our best and biggest games lineup ever, that's always what it is at every E3.
ever.
Phil Spencer, head of Microsoft, and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella discussed the importance of gaming to Microsoft and in the world, which is a big deal, right? Because there was a time when I think Xbox was kind of this pushed off piece of Microsoft that they didn't care about as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, because of the focus and how big gaming is, I think Microsoft really does see it as a pillar of their business.
Dig it.
We also shared new updates on how Xbox Game Pass is changing the way we discover, connect, and play, and how Xbox and all games from its 23 studios are coming to more screens. It's probably the biggest thing. So, quote, we believe that games, that interactive entertainment, aren't really about hardware and software. It's not about pixels, it's about people. Games bring people together, said Spencer. Games build bridges and forge bonds, generating mutual empathy among people all over the world. Joy and community, that's why we're here. Gaming is fundamentally aligned with our mission as a company, said Nadella. When you talk about Xbox's mission to bring the joy and community of gaming to everyone on the planet, which I absolutely love, that it's precisely aligned with Microsoft's mission, which is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. As a company, Microsoft is all in on gaming. Gaming is the most dynamic category in the entertainment industry. 3 billion consumers look to gaming for entertainment, community, creation, as well as a real sense of achievement, and our ambition is to empower each of them wherever they play. We believe that Microsoft can play a leading role in democratizing gaming and defining the future of interactive entertainment. There are really 3 key areas where we believe we have an incredible competitive advantage. First, our leadership in cloud computing. Second, the resources we have to build our subscription service, Xbox Game Pass. And third, our overall focus on empowering creators. So, expanding on our quest to reach billions of players with Xbox, today we provided new updates on the success of Xbox Game Pass and what's next for Xbox. Okay. First and foremost, that's a lot of corporate speak. Listen, you're not going to get me to sit here and pretend that I believe a corporation actually cares about you. Like, they want your money. That's
right.
That's what the bottom line is. Like, they want your money. But it is important to see an alignment in one way or the other. It feels like Nintendo just does what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, we like having fun and we make games for kids. And if you play, you play. We'll put it out again and you'll buy it again. That's, you know what I mean? And Sony, I think, is beginning to turn a corner. I think the end of PS4 into PS5 was more like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. We do this because this is how it works. And I think after the announcements in the blog they made last week, more games coming to PC, games being cross PS4 and PS5, that kind of stuff, that they're beginning to turn a corner and really start to see. But again, we talked years ago about how even their like business CEOs were like, yeah, like console sales aren't going to be the way we handle our KPI anymore. Like, it's going to be different now. So while that all sounds good, I think where Microsoft is anyway, is that the numbers are there to help back that up. So I'm going to talk about this and get some of your impressions. So it says Game Pass is changing the way we discover, connect, and play. So the first bullet point is Xbox Game Pass members play 30% more genres and play 40% more games. And more than 90% of members said they played a game that they would not have tried without Game Pass.
Facts.
Is that?
Facts.
That is true.
Facts. I got stuff sitting on my hard drive now because it's in Game Pass. Like, oh, okay, let me give it a try. Why not?
Yeah.
Right. Have you found things that you liked that you wouldn't have otherwise played?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay. How about you, Jokes?
Same thing.
You wouldn't play otherwise?
Like, yeah, normally, you know how you've had the conversation, you love puzzle games. Yeah. And when we had that conversation, went into Game Pass, and there was a couple of those puzzle games that were in there, and I went ahead and downloaded them. One of them I spent a little bit of time in. It's not necessarily my forte that I play on there, but damn, it's in there. It's like, let me go ahead and download it, play it for a little bit, and you know, if I get hooked on it, I get hooked on it, because that's typically how it happens with me. If I get in, I like it,
Facts.
I end up staying with it.
Once
Yes,
they hook
sir.
you, boy, you hook,
You-
man. I'm
you
talking about
is
saying,
hook,
man,
line,
since
and
you beat off
sinker.
the scale.
And
off
the fact
stage.
that I'm not paying for them, and the thing is,
Yeah.
you know how we have backlogs of games that we need to play, but these are games that necessarily we haven't paid $30, $40, $50, $60, $70 that are just sitting there. They're in Game Pass.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we need space, you can delete it, go back, re-download it.
Right.
And it's like,
Listen, Marcus, I'm telling you, I'm still calling for it in Game Pass. I agree with you 100%. Weird say facts. Dragon Quest 11. Like if
I
I
have it
recall
downloaded.
correctly,
I started
when
playing.
I spoke, he was like, "This is my first Dragon Quest game." You know what I mean?
That's me.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I want to talk about something that I feel like is super important about that too. Because when Wiz and I talked about him playing Dragon Quest 11, Wiz has a young child, and his child likes to try to play with him. And as old man gamers, right? As grown gamers with jobs and kids and whatever, just trying to find the time, especially to put into a game like that, like an RPG or whatever, to get good or to figure out what's going on or do whatever. Like he said to me, like, yeah, I really like have to wait until my child goes to sleep so I can try to dig. And then I fall asleep with the controller in hand. If you had spent $60, $50, $60, $70 on it, you might feel some kind of way about, or you might not spend it at all because you just feel like I don't have the time to dedicate to trying to play it. Right? But when you have something like Game Pass, the fact that you quote unquote don't have the time allows you to just kind of get it in and make the time if you didn't. You know what I mean? And I think that's making a big difference when it comes to how people are choosing them wanting to do this. Now, the next bullet point is, on average, across the Game Pass library, partners see engagement go up by more than 8 times when they enter Game Pass. We wanted to talk about that. That's just a real thing. Third bullet point. Whether it's purchasing games inside or outside of what's available in the library or purchasing additional content for the games they like, members spend 50% more than non-members. All right, hold on for a second. What you're telling me is somebody who paid for Outriders will then spend less money. 50% of the people will spend less money now on the game than they would if they got it in Game Pass. Right? These are the proof in the pudding joints that when I tell you, you're going to see a game like Battlefield 2042 show up day one in Game Pass. You will see more games third party day one. As Sony continues to go after, like, we're going to get this as an exclusive title. It's not a Sony made exclusive, but it's an exclusive that comes from a third party and we're paying, so it's only for us. Right? New Guilty Gear. Perfect example. Right? Microsoft will say, yeah, we just want to make sure it's in Game Pass so that more people, you know what I mean? Like, you'll see more engagement and people, you know what I mean? This is them kind of showboating some of those numbers and what people are having. So Xbox Game Pass has become a true discovery engine, a platform for connection and community, and it's driving game sales. New insights we're sharing today include, so check this out. Since we started our partnership with EA Play and Game Pass Ultimate, our players have been engaging with EA subscription service in a significant way. Compared to before the integration, EA Play has seen a record usage on Microsoft platforms, driving hours played on these platforms up by more than 200%. As a result, EA's incredible portfolio of games has reached and gained millions of new fans on the Xbox platform. Let's just stop right there. Let's start with talking about how EA Play originally was only on Xbox. It was Xbox exclusive. You had to pay for it to get it, $35 a year. Now it's just part of Game Pass. Okay. Eventually it did make its way to PC, and then eventually it made its way to PlayStation, but PlayStation was like, no, we're not doing that. That doesn't make sense because they want people to buy the game because they want to get their cut.
Get their share. They got to get, they want their cut. They got to get it.
Listen, that's fair from a business perspective. I totally get it. Right. But when you tell me that they're seeing a 200% engagement across their library on the Xbox platform, you don't think Battlefield's coming? Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying to you. You don't think Battlefield's coming day one?
They're going to tell us on Sunday.
Because that's why we have not heard them say, because like any other day you would just say, yeah, this joint's coming to PlayStation, this joint's coming to Xbox, this joint's coming to PC. We have only heard this joint is coming to PlayStation. They are coming out of the gates like, oh, sorry guys, we forgot to mention something about Battlefield when it got
And
announced.
PlayStation had to get it out there before that Game Pass news come out, so
Because
people
people
can start the
to
pre-order.
go pre-order.
Yeah.
And again, that was one of the things for me. It was like, why wouldn't you just announce it right now that joint's going to be day one Game Pass? You'll see gameplay on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still feel like that's a thing they could have / should have done.
Could have done.
But we'll see. All right, so next. The new Square Enix game Outriders is in Game Pass and was also the #1 selling digital game on Xbox during its launch week and a top 10 selling digital game on Xbox in the month of April. Game Pass helped introduce millions of players to the game. So now think about that for a second. The game is free in Game Pass, but the joint was top 10 just actually selling the joint. And we've talked about this before, but the reason why is because people are seeing other people in like when you look at your friends, listen, everybody's playing Outriders. What is this game? I gotta grab it. You know what I'm saying? Knockout City is the same thing. Knockout City is exactly the same thing. EA day one, like Knockout City is thriving on Game Pass. It's crazy.
All they gotta do is throw more skins and things in there, and people are gonna go drive and get those things, and they're gonna buy them.
Spend $70 on the game, so you don't feel like. So you got
that $70 on skins and extra stuff,
And again,
knockout pass or whatever.
And here's the thing: you have to start to understand the way that developers are monetizing their games. Okay, it used to be we need to sell it to you right here, right now, but now it's not that. It is the developers of Knockout Kings, along with EA, saying we have this many million players playing our game. Mountain Dew. You want to do a sponsorship with us and put a Mountain Dew outfit. We want to partner with Paramount to put something from these. We like Rocket League. We want to we have this many millions of people playing, especially now that we're free because Epic bought us. So let's do a Fast and the Furious franchise joint and put the Fast and Furious games in Rocket League. Like that is the way that developers are beginning to monetize their games. It's not just it's free to play and you pay for skins and that's how they make money. No, it's Smite partnering with Netflix and Stranger Things to put skins in the game because they're getting paid by Netflix to help advertise Netflix by putting it in the game. Right? You see this creature. You never watched Stranger Things on Netflix. Let me go back and watch this. You see what I'm saying? So
everybody eats.
Knockout Kings. I'm sorry, Knockout City.
Knockout City.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I wish dog if they announce a Knockout
Kings,
I'm gonna go 8. I'm gonna go 8. The fact that Knockout City has these millions of players that are sitting in Game Pass means that when they go to anybody, when people come to them and say, listen, we keep hearing all this stuff about Knockout City, what can we do? How do we put something in that has jerseys that have our logo on the back of it? How do we get, you know what I'm saying, A, B, and C? It's because you can now say, well, we have this many people playing our game. And so the KPI isn't we sold this many copies. The KPI is we have this many people constantly playing. Look at what we look like on the Steam charts. How many people are consistently playing, right? We didn't sell anymore. They're just in there playing, right? So we didn't sell new copies, but people are playing. They'll buy the skins. You see what I'm saying? You pay us, we'll put the skins in the game. You see what I'm saying? That's where that comes from. So you got to understand the way that monetization is happening. Now, next, and it's not a jab, but during launch week, MLB The Show 21 was the biggest sports game of the past year on Xbox and the second biggest sports game of all time on Xbox. Game Pass added millions of new fans and grew Major League Baseball's player base significantly. MLB The Show 21 was also the #1 selling paid game on Xbox for the month of April. So again, the joint is free in Game Pass.
John is doing what it's supposed to.
$70 if you buy it, but the joint is in Game Pass.
And you know what's happening? Those people that get in the Game Pass, just like you saying, oh, you see in your friends list. But then when you talk to your friends, it's like, yo, did you get this MLB The Show? This joint is the truth. Oh, you ain't got Game Pass? Take your ass in that store and buy that joint so we can get online and play.
You telling me you paid $70 for that? That's half a year's worth of Game Pass.
Some people want to do it that way. You know what? Let them do that way. Microsoft don't give a damn. They want you in Game Pass.
That's a for MLB The Show to outsell NBA 2K, to outsell Madden, After they just got finished talking about how much they see the uplift in EA stuff. This is also, let me just say again, I'm calling it. I'm on it. Ubisoft is coming to Game Pass.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think we all agree to that.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the next thing. Xbox and Xbox Game Pass are coming to more screens. Xbox is working with global TV manufacturers to embed the Xbox experience directly into internet-connected televisions with no extra hardware required except the controller. Say I didn't call it.
That was our
Yep.
Like
those
a year
bundles
and
are
a
coming.
half ago, dog, I called this. All right, bullet point 2. Xbox is exploring new subscription offerings for Game Pass, so more players around the world can experience the most immersive and fun games across devices, geographies, and financial realities. So here's what I want to talk about as far as that's concerned. I talked to somebody today who plays on Xbox, but has been chiefly two people today who are chiefly PlayStation players.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was like, yo, man, I've been playing PlayStation since I was 3. He's 20. I've been playing PlayStation since I was 3. I'm a PlayStation guy. And my man was like, yo, that Xbox, that Game Pass is hurting, man. Like, they got PlayStation Now, but that joint don't even come close. Like, he was like, man, I've really been thinking about getting it. And I was like, did you see the thing they posted today where they said that joint is coming to TVs and you just gonna need a controller? And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I can play the joint on my phone right now, and pulled out my phone, went in the Game Pass and showed him all the games. I was like, yeah, all I gotta do is hook my controller up to this joint. He was like, for real? Yes. Right? That's where we are, right? But the other guy who was there specifically said, listen, not even joking. My man said, dang, how much is it? And I was like, well, for Game Pass Ultimate, it's $15 a month. He was like, dang. And I was like, the regular joint's $10 a month. He was like, man, no joke. My financial advisor said I can't do another subscription service. Okay, that's fair. Did you hear what? Let me just read that last part again. More players around the world can experience the most immersive and fun games across devices, geographies, and financial realities. They are recognizing that the fact that another
subscription service,
another monthly fee, is a thing that is part of what is keeping people from getting into Game Pass. Right? Because they Disney Plus and Netflix and Prime and
HBO Go.
We finally cut the cable cord, and then it's like this joint has just all subscription service had literally just replaced that in the heartbeat.
Realistically, though, at the price point, Game Pass is still a better deal than every other subscription service you have. Period. Because for all the movies that are on Netflix, at almost $20 a month now, because that joint is like $17 or $18 a month now, like it just went up again or it's getting ready to go up again.
Disgusting.
They're like the family joint for 4K and so forth. You'll never, again, you're not going to play all the games in Game Pass, but what it would cost you to buy the movies that are actually in Netflix that you want to watch isn't even close. However, the beauty of Netflix is there's stuff that you probably would never normally watch, but because it's there, you watch it, end up binging the whole thing, which is what's happening with Game Pass. So next, Xbox is telecommunications providers on new purchasing models like Xbox All Access, which allow consumers to buy both a console and Game Pass for a low monthly price rather than spending the money up front.
Clean.
Xbox is building its own streaming devices for cloud gaming to reach gamers on any TV or monitor without the need for a console at all.
Xbox Roku's.
Act like I didn't call it.
Xbox Roku's.
Like, that's where they at. You right, Perp? It's the future. That's what they doing, right?
It is.
So cloud gaming through Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will launch in Australia, Brazil, Mexico, and Japan later this year. In the next few weeks, cloud gaming on the browser will open to all Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members with Edge, Chrome, and Safari support. Players will be a click away from gaming on almost any device. We're in the final stages of updating our Microsoft data centers around the world with our latest generation hardware, the Xbox Series X. This means gamers will see faster load times, improved frame rates, and experience Xbox Series X/S optimized games. We talked about this. I told y'all that even though they hadn't talked about it, I knew that they were updating.
Swapping them out.
Obviously, Xbox Ones in the data center to Xbox Series X's. Marcus says, So many shows got new life because of Netflix. So yes, Game Pass is basically doing what Netflix is doing for movies and shows. It's the same thing in almost any streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
That there's content there that isn't for you. You are not the target audience. Here's the thing. We are at a special place now where the internet allows us to create a target audience.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who wasn't into something before now is heavily into something because they binge watched the entire first season. So when a second season gets announced, they're like, oh, for real? Gotta see what happens with my man Lucifer.
True.
But they didn't care before. Lucifer being on TV wasn't enough for them. It only got another season because of Netflix. They weren't going to go to such and such channel to watch it when it was on TV. At the time, TV told you had to be there. The convenience of streaming services is watch it when you want to,
mm-hmm.
without commercials and whatever else, right? That's the beauty of streaming. Is like, you know what? I don't even know. I don't have time. I'm about to go to bed. I'm not going to go to such and such channel and watch it. But you know what? I'll throw it on and see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm going to spend 15 minutes and the next thing you know, you've seen 3 episodes. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, right? There are new audiences being created because streaming is a thing and gives you instant access. You can have it right here, right now. And as a person who is not a millennial, but understands them better than most people do because I have a few of them. And for a long time, it was my job to sell to them. The most important thing to young people is instant gratification. Kids don't wait for nothing.
They don't. I'm in the boat. I'm in the boat. Like if I want to consume it now, I want to be able to do it. Like you got me right here and there. Like granted, I've gotten better about that over time, but it's like if I can get it, I want it now. I want to be able to consume it.
Correct. And that's like for Sin, it's excruciating. Like 2020 told him he don't have no choice. He got to wait because Disney is like, well, we only putting out one episode a week. But Sin would prefer to wait until the entire season is done and just watch it all in one fell swoop.
Yep.
Right? It's excruciating.
One Piece is killing me right now.
I'm about to say this is why we can't have anime conversations about anything new. Because you just have to wait until it's at its end.
Listen, and
22 minutes a week.
Don't give Sin a hard time about that. If you want to, give me a hard time about it because I don't watch none of that. And you can't talk with me about it either. But if you just want to get it off your chest, you can. I just won't care because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you just want to get it out your system, feel free, bro. You know what I mean? Perp says, this is also why I tell people binging is the future too. Well, it's already happening. And you're absolutely right. Where it says, me too. I like to watch the whole thing. So you wait till the whole thing is over. Which is cool, right? But even games are starting to be pushed in episodic content, right?
I've learned. I started doing that with my games as far as like all the DLC. Like for instance, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like I've touched it, I played it. I'm like, okay, I know they got DLC coming, and I know me that once I beat it,
not going back.
I'm probably not going back. So I'd rather wait till I have all the DLC so I can just go through it in one fell swoop. So I won't feel like I've wasted my money by buying the Ultimate Edition and all that kind of stuff.
I understand. So 100%. 100%, dog. So the last bullet point on that one is later this year, we'll add cloud gaming directly into the Xbox app on PC and integrate it into our console experience to light up scenarios like try before you download.
Demo.
Now, if you remember, RIP Stadia, which still exists, but RIP Stadia anyway. One of the things that was dope about it was like you can watch somebody play and then just kind of jump in, play a little portion of it. Then if you want to buy it, you could buy it, which is one of the coolest things, which is something that they allow you to do from the cloud. The idea of Microsoft saying, you know what? There's all this stuff that's in Game Pass. Here's all this stuff that's in the cloud. On your PC, it's just in the app. You need the Xbox app. right? Xbox is intending poor Stadia. I don't know, man. Google got a lot of money. I don't really. Xbox right now is like, we're going to be on every device, in every room, everywhere you are. We're in the joint on your pocket. We're in the joint on your computer screen. We're on your TV screen. You know what I mean? Like, and here's the dongle. Put it on a screen that don't have us. You understand what I'm saying? Buy a controller. That controller will be boxed with the dongle. $100.
Oh, yeah.
I'm calling it. $100.
That's right on the money.
Dongle and a controller. Straight up. Period. Buy them both. Plug it in. Connect it to your.
Not to mention, it's going to give you like 30 days of Game Pass right in the box. You go open that joint.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, think about it. You've been able to use a Chromecast for like a decade now. They've had something you could plug in and just watch. Rokus are essentially the same way, right? Like a Roku, you just plug it in and all the stuff that's there, whatever apps are available, they're there, right? You don't pay anything to have Roku. You don't pay anything to be able to use a Chromecast, right? But the Chromecast lets you take YouTube and watch YouTube on your big screen. And you know how Google makes money?
Ads.
On YouTube. The more people watch it, again, the way developers are making money is we have this many people playing our game consistently. Give us money to advertise your thing. That's exactly what Google does with YouTube. It is very much, oh, you have this many followers? Yes, we will give you something. Here, show this to your people. We want to get it in front of as many people as we possibly can. Game Pass shooting to have like 50 million people by the end of this year, which is sick. But again, it's also you hear Sony continuing to say, like, listen, PlayStation 5 shortages are going to continue to exist probably into 2022. So yeah, we're putting our games that are PlayStation 5 exclusive on PlayStation 4. We got to make this money. Now you can try to slice it any way you want to and be like, well, there's 100 million players there, so that's kind of not good business sense to leave them. But that was your plan. That's what you said.
Yeah, that's what the plan was, leave the PS4 in the dust.
Right. Yeah. So now your plan has changed.
Backpedal.
But Microsoft learned the hard way console sales wasn't the thing. We have this many people playing on Xbox Live. We've always had that. We've always touted that. Right? We're going away from even telling you how many consoles we sold. It doesn't really matter. Right? But they're going to tell you how many dongles they moved. The sheer number of controllers, like, as a company, we know Microsoft doesn't make money selling Xboxes. But we know they make money on controllers.
Oh, yeah.
And just think about it. Just sheer imagine this. At one point, you know what? You were like, you know what? I'm only going to have one Xbox in the house. If I ever upgrade and get the new one, I'll shift the old one to this TV and put the new one on the better one. Now, essentially, you can have an Xbox on every damn TV in your house if you wanted to.
Take it to the next level, Jokes. And I'm going to tell you why. You have an old Xbox. It's an Xbox One. Right? You upgrade to a Series S or an X. Right? So you take the old Xbox, you move it to another TV. You don't have a dongle. But they're integrating the cloud service into the consoles. What that means is there's the possibility that an Xbox One or an Xbox One X running cloud games, because you have Game Pass, will run them as an Xbox Series S/X version. You don't even have to buy the new joint.
You got the
Go to GameStop, who we have a deal with, by the way,
and buy that pre-owned. You can buy that pre-owned 1X, 1S.
We don't care. Buy the old joint. Put it on an old TV. Give it to the kids in the playroom. Oh, you run a daycare in your house because all these people stuck at home and they got to have a place to send their kids because now they not going back to work because COVID showed us that's not a thing we have to do anymore. But your kids got to go somewhere. Man, put it in the playroom with them. Just buy a shitload of controllers, please.
That's it. That's all you need, controllers.
And you know them kids gonna fuck them controllers up. You know what I'm saying? Like, drift is gonna be a problem, Slim. Like, but
sticky buttons, all of it.
Realistically, right? It is the Apple formula. It is the Apple formula,
but better, honestly.
But executed in a better way because it's gaming. And here's the thing. Think about this. And for a long time, Ellis would be in our comments trying to push me to buy my daughter a new TV.
Mm-hmm.
She has an Xbox One S. If I was to upgrade her to a new TV or a new console, think about it. An Xbox Series X costs $500. You can buy a 55-inch 4K TV for $500.
Yeah.
With Google Chrome on it. With a browser in it. She already has a controller.
Yep.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Oh, when I just bought a TV. Man, if these joints hit before Black Friday,
it is going to be a problem.
Oh my gosh.
It's a wrap.
All
Small
these Game
TVs,
Pass,
like a little TV, like a little 32-inch, 40-inch. Somebody's buying, you know what I mean, or whatever. You don't see them joints being packaged with a dongle and a controller. Stop playing with me.
Oh, it's happening.
Easy, yeah.
The idea of having, and again, here's the other thing that I think is really going to push it. And again, we still got more stuff to go through because they wasn't done announcing stuff after that. But like Sunday, when they start going through all these games, these are all games that are coming. And these aren't just the Microsoft joints. These are all the third-party joints that are coming. And it starts to hit like, why would you buy a console and pay $70 for this joint when you could just have it? And then take it with you wherever you want because it already works on your phone. Take the same controller that comes with the box or the same controller that came on the dongle and just run it with your phone and take your phone with you when you go. Take your tablet with you when you go. Take your laptop with you when you go. Oh, because your laptop is your Xbox because your Xbox is in your cloud. Like it is an important thing, right? To see the way that gaming is shifting. Everybody's doing it. They already were. They just were doing it on their phone. And as they continue to add touch integration on your phone for a lot of the games that are there, like it just continues to go up. And Sony's going to need an answer.
Quick.
Because they run out of time. Big facts.
They're going to need an answer. There's no two ways. All right, so check this out. An incredible pipeline of game. With more than 23 studios worldwide creating games for Xbox, our goal is to release at least one new first-party game into Game Pass every quarter. Role-playing games, shooters, strategy tiles, adventure games, and more are all being built by our first-party teams to ensure that there is a steady stream of compelling exclusive content to explore. Our independent developer program, ID at Xbox, has earned developers over $2 billion since the program's inception, with over 2,000 titles launched and many more on the way. This model is now being used for ID at Azure, allowing independent devs to build cloud-based experiences. These programs bring new voices from diverse backgrounds into the world of game development. Listen, when you're trying to make it easier for even the developers to get their games into the cloud, which means if you're adding their games to the cloud, you put them on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the sheer breadth. Now, hey, listen, my man said I do need a TV. Show me the bundles. The bundles are coming. Mm-hmm. The bundles are coming.
And honestly, you know what? They're gonna show up before holiday because you know what time it is too? It's back to school time.
No doubt.
Kids heading off to college.
Yep.
By August.
Yep.
And actually going back. Like, and actually going back.
Going on campus.
Yeah.
You're sending them with these little small 32-inch, 40-inch, depending on what type of rooms you have, smart enabled. You're going to need something.
Yeah, but think about what it does. If you already have a TV that you're bringing with you, and now you don't have to bring your console. You just have a dongle in your controller. Everybody shows up with their controller or whatever, and let's just go.
Save on space, yeah.
Think about the LAN party thing where everybody brings a TV. Remember, like people used to lug big ass like 32-inch TVs to get together to play, right?
We still
But if all
don't
you
have
gotta do is
PCs
bring-
around.
If all you gotta do is bring your laptop, which you can do everywhere anyway,
Or a tablet.
your phone, y'all can all link together. Like
Tablet.
that's what I'm saying.
Dog.
Like, I had somebody tell me the other day that because of they're in the program, and so they actually already have cloud running on their iPads.
Mm-hmm.
So they had their kids' iPads mounted to the wall in the room. They have like 3 iPads on the wall in the room, and they can just go in and play. And the idea of being able to pick it up and play it and just take it in any room and just pick up where you left off, kind of thing. Like it's just.
And you're not even having to buy some ridiculous, super high-end version of the iPad. You can go get the most basic of iPads.
You just need the browser.
Yeah,
and it's gonna work.
You just need the browser. I mean, again, like browser speed and internet connections abound. Like those things are still important. Like you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get away from that specifically, but it shows you that the push to change infrastructure, to make things different, to get people to see it differently, and the push outside of the country is a big thing, right? So we know Microsoft's not going to sell Xboxes in Japan. It ain't happening. But can they sell a dongle and a controller for the phone you already have, when those phones are already better than the phones that we have? Because we get our phones like a year or more after they do.
Yep.
And not to mention, now they haven't said, obviously the dongle's main purpose will be for the gaming thing, but who knows? You could still have like your Netflix, Hulu's type of thing that may show up on there.
It's totally possible, right? Like they could have Microsoft Movies and TV or something like that on it if they wanted to. Like if you look in Game Pass, if you go into Microsoft Movies and TVs, there are specific deals that you can get. Like if you want to buy movies or rent movies, there's a discount that's available to you because you're a
Game Pass.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the other thing we'll continue to see them doing, right? So whether it's discounts on DLC or special stuff you get, just like Prime Gaming does. Like if you got Prime, you have Prime Gaming, they got these downloads you can get that give you skins you can't get anywhere else, or give you guns, or give you additional XP for a certain period of time. Like they'll continue to do that kind of stuff, and we're going to see more and more of it. So with Rainbow Six, like being in Game Pass, and For Honor now being in Game Pass, right? Those games have incredible followings already. People don't really talk about it. You don't see it. It's not new, but they add new stuff constantly. Being in Game Pass introduces way more people to it. And so when they start dropping stuff in Game Pass, that's like, oh, here's a 6-hour XP joint. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever that you get for Rainbow, or here, you know what I mean? Like those things are going to continue to populate, right? It makes sense. And so, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody besides Ubisoft actually also decides that they want to jump and do something in Game Pass. And it wouldn't totally surprise me if there was an additional fee, if you wanted to also have Ubisoft included. But I'll tell you what, if it's between $5 and $10, I'll do it. If you told me that every Ubisoft game, because the way that Ubisoft's pass works on PC is you pay, it's like a yearly or monthly fee or whatever, and every new Ubisoft game is just available to you at release.
Mm-hmm.
If you told me I was going to get that as a Game Pass member and that I could pay, even if they said here's a little bit more, like it's going to cost you a little bit more,
sign me up.
I'm done. Because if you tell me right now I don't have to spend $70 on Far Cry 6, it's over.
I'm not normally the one to play Far Cry. Game Pass, my ass is going to be playing Far Cry.
I'm just saying, like, I play almost everything Ubisoft puts out.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, as people are like, Microsoft needs like their own Ratchet and Clank.
Something.
I'm beginning to disagree with that. And it's for the same reason that I said last week, that is as dope as Ratchet and Clank is, and as well as it's reviewing, it's not a system seller. But and here's the thing, it is something for kids, but it's not. Because only old people who already know Ratchet and Clank are really playing that joint.
Mm-hmm.
If you go right now and you ask a kid about Ratchet and Clank, they're going to look at you like you stupid. Because they're all playing Fortnite. Am I?
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank gonna show up in Fortnite. And they gonna be,
Listen,
hey.
as a parent, dog, like I don't know kids that play Mario Odyssey. It's all grown men. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Playing Mario because they have the nostalgia for it. Now there are plenty of kids that play Splatoon.
This and is getting it.
Sling would absolutely get Ratchet if he could.
If I had to play it, I'd have been had it pre-ordered if I had a PS5.
That's the issue.
He would absolutely have it, and he'd absolutely be playing it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there aren't kids who will play it or who could play it because they can. But they have access to so much stuff from so many places that what I feel like is Microsoft just needs to do a deal with somebody to put a game like Super Lucky's Tale in Game Pass that people can play. Yes, they have Banjo. So they could do Banjo if they really want to. I don't think kids give a shit. Kids don't care that Banjo is in Smash Brothers. Only we care that Banjo is in Smash Brothers.
That's right.
Now, did it introduce kids to them? Sure.
Absolutely.
They're not playing with them.
I'm about to say they ain't going to get no N64 to go back and play Banjo Kazooie in 64.
Slim. If Nintendo comes out on Tuesday when they do their showcase and announce that some no-name character from Fortnite is going to show up in Smash Brothers, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Did y'all even know that it's Bammers in Fortnite with names?
Oh yeah, they got names.
Yeah.
What are they?
I don't know.
Exactly, dog. But they do. They do. They don't care about Mario. They don't care about Crash. Like we care and we try to force our kids to do it. I did that. I did that with Mario. My kids don't care about Mario. They know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
They know, like, for 20 years, I've been trying to get my kids to play Mario. They don't care. They don't care. They know who he is. It doesn't matter. It never has. And it's not gonna. If Microsoft come out on Sunday and be like, we doing what was the rare joint they had where you could raise the Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
Viva Pinata.
No, they already got the little pinata joint. They wouldn't do that. But I see what
you
you're
mean?
saying.
Fortnite will bring that joint in for a special event? You crazy? That's a special event.
I'm just saying, like, nobody, like, Viva Pinata could be a thing. It's a simulator. It's, whatever. But, like, people going crazy over Bug Snacks. I don't think kids care. Maybe they do. But I only hear adults talking about it, right? Because that's who got $500 to buy a PlayStation 5.
True. Very true.
Yes, there was a Viva Pinata cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You would remember that based on your age. Yeah, I don't think like, I think kids need, like, kids now, like, Minecraft is more synonymous with what the mascot platformer was. Now it's Minecraft and it's Roblox. It's like no name, like Minecraft Steve has a name.
Yeah.
That's what their thing is. Like, you can't really say Microsoft needs to have a Ratchet and Clank. They don't. They have Minecraft, and that shit's on everything.
Yep, play where you want to
Yes,
play.
it is.
Everything, and that one is making more money than any Ratchet and Clank or any Spyro than any of them joints ever made. Period. Today, that joint made more money than any of them joints. Today, this day, this hour,
Just
that joint
this
made
day.
more money than any of them joints. Like, they don't need a platformer, dog. Y'all want Voodoo Vince back? I don't.
No. No.
It's cool though. You know what I mean? Like, those things don't matter the way they used to. Kids don't care about collectathons. Like, that's all stuff for us. That's stuff we did or whatever. And now those collectathons mean less and less. Only grown men and women collected 900 Korok seeds. No child did that. No child played Breath of the Wild and was like, this is the craziest, most innovative thing I've ever seen. You mean the thing where you can climb? Crap. And like you have a stress meter and you fall if your stress falls, because I did that years ago on PlayStation 2. There was a game where there was nothing but giants to crawl, to climb up. Y'all remember that?
Shadow of Colossus.
It's nothing new in that game. Kids don't care. They don't care. Kids don't even know who Link is. They might have heard Legend of Zelda. They don't know who Link is. It doesn't matter. What Microsoft is doing right now to put Xbox as a thing in front of you on every screen you own. When the original reason Xbox was created was to keep Sony from taking over your living room. Microsoft is trying to take over every space you have.
Trying to take over your house.
Not
with
just
the evil
house,
laugh.
dog.
They're doing the evil laugh. Like
They want your car, dog.
Yep.
It's in your pocket. Take us everywhere you go, dog. Please don't leave us. That's what they're doing. They are going after Nintendo. There is no Xbox boy. No X boy. We're not doing a portable system.
nope. Just play it on one of them other systems.
Controllers
On
are
one of your
already portable. It's just that's what it is, man. I think E3, I think between the conferences we'll see Saturday, obviously with Xbox and Bethesda on Sunday, and then Square Enix after them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that don't
Like, we're going to continue to see more and more people just make announcements that they're like other people outside of the Xbox conference will say this game is coming to Game Pass. Like they're not going to say, "Oh, it's on Xbox and it's on PlayStation." They're going to say
Game Pass and
At the end of them
PlayStation.
trailers, gonna be looking for that logo at the bottom at the end of them trailers.
Game Pass.
like Microsoft will have it, but I'm telling you, I think third parties are going to start to say it.
No,
They're
that's
gonna
a
start
definite.
telling you this joint is in Game Pass, because at some point, the way that they're doing it, like one of the other things that they announced was that they are already working on new consoles.
I saw that, and I was
And
just
they said
like,
you probably won't see them for a couple. As a matter of fact, they said, "Listen, there's stuff we've announced you may never see, because that's how business works. Like we're testing things and trying things, and some of this stuff ain't gonna work, so you might not see all of it."
we're gonna nip
Here's
it.
the reality, though. If you're a developer, even if you're a huge third-party developer, if you're Square Enix, if you're whoever, it's not going to be enough to say that your game is on Xbox and on PlayStation, because the new console is Game Pass, because Game Pass is everywhere. So the same way you had to announce you're on Stadia,
You're gonna do it on Game Pass.
if you're going to be on Amazon Luna, you have to announce that. You're going to have to say we're on Game Pass, because you are trying to market to people that don't have an Xbox but do have Game Pass. Period.
And I'm still telling you that Game Pass will show up on the Switch. I'm telling you, in a certain degree, and it may not be the full.
Hey, listen, if they can make that joint work on an Opera browser, Nintendo may not be able to prevent it, but you will need to be able to either hook up a separate controller, or they'll have to find a way to make the Switch controller work with it. That'll be up to Microsoft. Well, Microsoft still is going to want to sell you an Xbox.
One of theirs,
Right.
You know what I mean?
like that Pro controller. Get this Elite controller. Step your game up.
I like. My man said he want Darkness 3. I don't think so.
He was begging for that for a minute.
I don't think that's happening, bro.
Darkness.
I
I think he just wants, because it'll be like Darkness 3.
Maybe. Yeah, I just look at this point, like I said it years ago, like Game Pass is going to be the new console. It's going to be about how many Game Pass devices, how many devices you have Game Pass on, how many people have downloaded the app. It's just an app. Just get the app. Here it is. Pay us monthly, right? But there's going to have to be stuff that's there for you to try for free if you don't have Game Pass, if you're not paying the $10. But think about the sheer number of people that will have to create a Microsoft account.
Oh yeah,
right? Because that was one of the biggest things. Like, if you could get achievements in games that Microsoft released, like in Minecraft, that was one of the big things why they didn't want Minecraft. Like, you could get achievements but you had to log. If Minecraft, when you played on something else initially, like you had to log into your Xbox account. You had to log into your Xbox, like, and they was like, nah, we don't want people logging into Xbox Live on PlayStation. We're not doing that. Totally understand that. How are you going to prevent it? How are you going to prevent it? And here's the reality of it. You don't tell Epic that they can't have people sign into Battle.net or sign into their Epic account, or EA that they can't sign into their EA account, their Origin account. You're not going to be able to tell people they can't sign into their Xbox Live account on PlayStation or on Nintendo. You're not going to be able to tell them.
Facts. Big facts. Don't have to deal with it. We'll not put it on there.
Microsoft don't care if you go buy a PlayStation 5 and pick up a dongle. Pick up a dongle.
I hate that word.
Hey, listen, stop it, man. That's one of my favorite words, dog.
Dongle.
Whoever invented that joint is a genius.
It's so stupid.
It's a dumb word. But it's the perfect word for what it is. What would you call it?
I don't know.
Exactly.
He's like, ain't that but a
That's why it's
dongle?
perfect. Like, you can't replace it now. That's what it is. We had to figure out what we're doing tomorrow night on Twitch because the Luau got canceled for tomorrow. So we're not doing that. So I guess we'll be playing on Twitch. We'll figure something out. We'll let y'all know.
Sure.
In anime chat, there is a session coming up, a live anime chat session that's coming. Fill the people in.
Sure. Yeah, we are. I see you counting down, Marcus.
Marcus on that countdown.
The countdown, boy.
But we are going to be with the Tokyo Olympics getting ready to come up. We will be celebrating sports animes, discussing Hajime no Ippo for boxing, Haikyuu for volleyball, Free for swimming, Yowamushi's Pedal for cycling, and Kuroku's basketball for basketball. Just putting people on to some of these good shows. I know Marcus would have an issue with probably one of them on the list, but we'll discuss it when the time comes. But just celebrating a very popular genre in anime and highlighting, some of the popular ones out there, just having a good time discussing these shows.
That's dope. Hey, I want y'all to know, like, I didn't say this, but I think y'all should know. So if you remember last year when they did Summer Game Fest, Microsoft did this thing where they had a bunch of demos that came that were available.
Oh, yeah.
Starting June 15th. So after E3 is over, they're going to start putting all these demos and stuff for the games you've seen this Summer Game Fest thing. So just make sure you're looking out for that so you can download new demos and so forth. It was canceled because of the weather. Even if it's not bad tomorrow, they said they'd already taken on too much rain for like the sand and stuff or whatever there. So unfortunately they're not going to be able to do that. My man said we should have added that Prince of Tennis.
Nah, too long. Trying to keep things, they want everything to be super long for people to go back and view. We'll bring it up definitely.
I mean, I think it's still going to be important, right?
Yeah.
They got a pretty solid list of games that are already slated to have demos, and the probably the joint I'm most interested in is Tunic. The fact that joint's getting a demo, I'm like, I'm all on. I'm all in. Okay, so
I'm talking about
wait.
Well, but like, I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, so listen. So, would you please?
Yeah, sure enough.
Again, listen. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us here. Make sure you jump into the link tree and check us out. Anime Vaults. The anime chat is there. The wrestling chat is there. Last night, man. Listen. Last night's top 10 wrestling finishers.
Good time.
Discussion. That joint was fire. I think that joint was actually better than like our MCU joint. And I think I had more fun doing that. Hey, listen, Marcus, that beats and beatdowns, you are begging for it, man. Listen, we working on some stuff, man. We got to talk to Kay to get that done, but we're working on some stuff.
Damn.
Straight up. Look. Appreciate y'all checking out the link tree, following us across everywhere. Make sure y'all do that. Again, we have stuff that only happens in some of those Coming up, we have the Loading Snacks Movie Club. So the movie club is like a book club where we'll be watching a movie, and then at the end of the month, we're going to have a chat only for people who are members of the book club. So it will be another private group that we'll create. I'm sorry, the movie club. So it'll be another private group that we create. We'll have a movie every month. First month is going to be July. First movie is Black Widow. And then we will have there will be a general discussion that happens. That is only going to go to our Patreon. So like a 30-minute general discussion that will happen between ourselves, Coop, Mari from the Frosty Twins. We're all going to jump in. Kay will actually be on there with us. So like y'all never see Kay really. But he shoots and edits a lot of our stuff. He does our music that you hear before the shows and stuff like that. And then so he is a huge movie buff. Really knows his stuff. So I think it's going to be really important to have him as a part of that conversation. So he'll be joining us for that. We will have in-depth conversation after that general conversation, which is what those who are in it will be able to jump in the chat and participate in. And we are going to talk about things like the cinematography, the score, the acting itself, and who was chosen and played what. And like, we're going to go more in depth than we normally do. Those movies, especially new stuff like Black Widow, there will still be a spoiler, boys, for Black Widow. There's just no way around it. Speaking of spoiler boys, look for the first episode Loki spoiler boys coming up on Monday. We're about to record it now. So y'all get ready for that on Monday. 15 minutes drops in MCU chat. The full version of it will be in Patreon.
Right.
If you're not already a Patreon member, make sure you go and you check us out there. There is content there you can't get anywhere else. We are looking at adding some new things to that. We're creating some new tiers for Patreon. We are working on some bonuses and content, some giveaways, things of that nature, to kind of take that to the next level. So, having said that, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight, for tuning in, talking games. Take that and drop that in the actual chat so people can click on that link for the merch. The merch has been doing super well. I am honestly overwhelmed by the sheer number of people who have been going on and buying stuff and then going back and buying more stuff. Like, I've seen it. Like, I know that people are going in and buying something and then going back and buying more stuff. Thank you so much. Right now, there are only 4 designs that are there. We are looking to expand that. We're working on some stuff. I've had some people already ask me about Spoiler Boy shirts. We're gonna try to work some things out. Possibly a cutscene shirt, possibly a Loading Snacks Weekly shirt. We're looking at doing some content that will be designs that may only be available for like 2 weeks, and then we'll pull a design. So keep your eyes peeled for some of that stuff. We really want to keep pushing it and give you reasons to go back and look at other things when you've already seen what's there. So we'll be trying to update that a little bit more regularly, so that there's a reason to go back and see what's there. Please, if you bought something, if you have it, if you don't mind, take a picture.
Please do.
Yeah.
Hashtag us, tag us in it. We really do love to see it. It makes us feel good to know that people are purchasing and enjoying the merch and happy with what they get. We've gotten some really good feedback, and so again, if you don't mind, by all means do that. Little Jokes and Young Sin straw hat shirts.
That sounds like a commission that's gonna need to be done.
I am already working on little Loading Snacks shirts. I will have you know that while you have only seen Little Jokes,
the others exist.
Yeah.
And there is a little Sin.
Yeah.
They already exist. They've already been drawn up. We are working on those things with J. Robert Deans. So we'll see what happens. It may be a cross promotion through his Spreadshirt site or something like that. But we're figuring that out. But there is definitely there's definitely some stuff on the way that we're working on. So again, thank you all so much. We greatly appreciate you. We can't do it without you. Most of you all who are on here have your own channels, your own Twitches, your own YouTubes, and so forth. We're gonna do a day where we just have people drop their links. We've done it before. We're gonna do another day. We'll do that soon. Again, we want everybody to follow everybody and just kind of continue to build this community up, and reach out to people. So, having said that, we need to wrap this up. We are out. This has been Cutscenes. Toodles and Lose.